Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. We are going to be making this beanie in this video. I've had some issues with tree workers outside, more noise inside, and so I ended up doing a voice-over video. We're doing a beanie with the popcorn stitch and the basket weave stitch. And I've shown this on a scarf. But I have not shown this stitch before. It's a little bit more involved. There's a lot more counting with each stitch to make these little bubbles. But it is a unique, fun, different style beanie. You don't have to do the basket weave. You can just do a double crochet stitch band here. Instead of having the variegated sections. I liked the variegated sections, so I kind of went with that. But let's get into this and show you how to make this beanie. So for this beanie, I am using the alpaca twist yarn that I have been using that I got on clearance for $1.24 from Hobby Lobby. I'm using the color Kale. It is a super pretty green, and this beanie is for me because I just love this color so much. So I started with tying a knot, just like I have for every other project, and then I am doing 6 chain stitches. Once you do your 6 chain stitches, you're going to go ahead and connect it through to the beginning, making a circle, and this is the base for your beanie. Now we're going to chain up 2. And we're going to do this on every level, and we're going to start making the first popcorn stitch. So you're going to wrap, put it through, wrap, bring it back through. That puts 3 on the needle. We need 9. So you're going to keep doing that step, trying to keep it at the same kind of length of yarn, and then you're going to wrap the final time, pull through, wrap, pull through, and basically do 2 chain right at the end right there because you're connecting it. So we're going to show it again. You're going to wrap, get my fuzz ball off of there. So you're going to wrap, bring it through, wrap, bring it back through. That gives you 3. Wrap, bring it through, wrap, bring it back. That's 5. That's 7. That's 9, and now I wrap and pull it through all of them. Now, if you have an issue here, you probably did your things too tight, or just kind of try to finagle your needle through. If it doesn't work, then just redo it. It is better to have a clean and neat popcorn stitch than to have one that you have tousled and jostled and everything else. So this is why this one takes more counting, and I would kind of say this is more of an intermediate level beanie because it does take a lot of extra attention. Here I'm showing that I didn't make it all the way through, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it through those last 2, and then I wrap, pull it through. That's 1 chain, that's 2 chains. And that kind of seals that popcorn stitch up and gives it the poof that it needs and the control that it needs. So we're going to do this stitch 4 times in that center ring, and that is the basic start to our popcorn stitch beanie. Now my mind kind of likes to wander sometimes, and sometimes I'll end up with 11 stitches in a popcorn stitch, or I'll end up with 7. I try really hard to make sure it's 9, but don't freak out if you are off. The other thing is you just count. You can see how many wraps are on your crochet hook before you pull through, and you can make sure you have the right amount. But this one does take a little bit of extra focus. So now that we have our 4, and we have our double, our chain up right here, we are going to go ahead and just connect the 2 sides, creating a circle here. And basically you're going to try to go to the top of your popcorn stitch where your two chain up meets your popcorn stitch. You're going to pull that through, and now you have a little circle with 4 popcorn stitches in it. You're going to double chain up. And then what we're going to do now is just like the previous beanie, to make this get wider, we need to do double popcorn stitches in each hole. Well, there's only 4 holes here. So when you have your center one where you double chained up, I like to do one on each side of that to kind of help hide the chain up, but also to create a balance when it comes to the seam. It helps it go straighter. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a popcorn stitch, and basically it's going to be a single popcorn stitch in that hole. Now in this one right here, we're going to go ahead and do 2 popcorn stitches in that hole. And you're not trying to go through the individual stitches like you would crocheting a scarf or any of the other things I've shown. This one we're going underneath the whole big opening, so you have room for all of these strands of yarn on your hook. So we went ahead and we did our stitch, and now we're doing another one in exactly the same hole. We're going to do this the entire row. We're going to do double stitches, double popcorn stitches in each section, and then when we get back to the last spot, then we are going to go ahead and do it right next to that double chain up. That way it puts a second one into that section. And I'm going to show that here in just a second. This stitch looks very complicated, but I will tell you this is probably one of the fastest beanies to crochet. Once you get going on it, it flies. Once you get comfortable with this stitch, it does really well. A couple things I want to point out is if you try to go through a hole, which is I think what I was doing here, it was getting stuck, but you don't want to go through those individual stitches. It's better to take it out and start over if things aren't moving smoothly. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is the size of your popcorn stitch is going to really rely on how much leeway you give the yarn. So when you put it in, I'm pulling it out just a little bit. This stitch is probably going to be slightly smaller, purely because I wasn't pulling it as far away from the beanie itself. So if you can give it that little bit of extra, I want to say I'm going about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch away. That's how long each one of these loops should be, and that's going to give you room for your crochet hook to go through, but it's also going to give that poof. That popcorn stitch helps that popcorn stitch really stand out. So here's where I'm showing, I'm going right next to the double crochet, the chain up. I keep saying double crochet. You're going right next to the 2 chains up, and that's going to create the double stitch for you. That's just my preference. I'm going to switch this later on throughout the beanie, but here at the beginning I feel like it's very important. So just like the previous beanie that I showed how to make, you're doing your original ring, then you're doing 2 stitches in each section. This next row, we're going to double chain up again, and we're going to do 2 stitches and then a single stitch, and then 2 stitches and then a single stitch and 2 stitches and a single stitch all the way around. And that is going to let this continue to slowly widen out. And it is the start of the beanie. It's the part that goes on the back of the head. We're kind of creating a disc first and allowing it to go out flat. And then when we're ready to, we have it to the right size for your head. Then we're going to start bringing down the edges to create the bowl shape. So by doing the doubling up, we are allowing it to keep flattening out, creating a nice flat circle. And it's kind of a cool setup, how this all comes together. Okay, so like I said, this particular row is going to be a 2-in-1 hole, and then a single stitch, and then a double stitch, and then a single stitch. And we're going to keep going all the way around with that. And keeping in mind that first one that looks like a single right now is really a double the way we're doing it. So if that confuses you too much, just do a double in the first one, and move around the circle that way. That is not a problem. It's all about personal preference. We are going to keep increasing the single stitches between the double stitches for a few rows. So I'm going to show you glimpses of each row to kind of give you that idea of what to do. But I'm not going to have you sit and watch me crochet the actual whole beanie, because I don't think very many people would enjoy that. So right here I had just shown that I basically had 3 stitches, right? 3 single ones, and I made that last one a double, so that way I can keep going double, single, double, single. This last one again, I'm popping in and making that first stitch a double right up next to the double crochet chain up, and we're just going to close off this layer. The next layer is going to be a double, single, single, double. So you're going to do that all the way around. So we went from the 4 popcorn stitches to doubles all the way around to double, single, double. Now we're on double, single, single, double. Always doing the 2 chain up at the beginning of the new row. You can tell as I'm going with this too, I'm getting more and more comfortable with the stitch. It had been a while since I had done a beanie with this stitch, and so it does get more and more comfortable, and this goes faster and faster the further along into the beanie you get, and your popcorn stitches get to be similar sizes. Now this is my first time doing it with a fuzzy yarn like this, and it is a little bit different. Things slide differently. It's just a little different. I've done this mainly with the red heart and the like, I love this yarn, and it is different, but I do like it. So I finished that whole row out with the double, single, single, double. Now we're moving on to the next row, which is double, single, 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 double. So we have 3 singles in between doubles. And we're going to just keep building that all the way around, and it's just getting wider and wider. It starts to curve a tiny bit, which is okay, doing that slight curve. But you just want to keep going with your pattern. So I'm going to finish this row with the double and then 3 singles and then a double. and repeat, rinse and repeat over and over again until that whole row is complete. Once it is done, what you can see here, it comes together pretty quickly. I just keep counting. But once that's done, we're going to move on to the next row. And the next row is going to be our last one with any double stitches in it. It has grown wide enough with this one, and basically all we're doing on this one is we're doing a double stitch, and then you can see I ended up doing it here because because that first one was a little tight and weird. I couldn't get a stitch in. So you have a double, and then you have 4 singles, and then a double, and then 4 single stitches, and then a double. And you're going to do that all the way around. And this is going to create a tighter curve. This is going to allow the beanie to start really arching around and creating a bowl shape. After this, it is single stitches for each row for 7 rows. I'm not going to show all of that because, again, that takes a while. But I am going to pop you in and show you the different steps along the way, and then how we finish this beanie out. So this is what it looks like with the last double set. So the double with the 4 singles, and then double with 4 singles. Now we're moving into the 7 rows of singles. Each one started with a 2 chain up. You can tell that's looking rather large, and it's gonna fit just perfectly for me. If you have a super small head, then you may want to do one less row, maybe stop at the one with the 3 single stitches, but otherwise I would do what I'm saying here. And then I just showed you the beanie, what it looks like with 7 of the 7 rows of the single popcorn stitches. And now we're going to finish it out. I don't like to finish a beanie with just the popcorn stitch. It doesn't look complete to me. And so we are going to go ahead and do a basket weave stitch across the rim of this. And to do that, you need to start with a row of double crochet stitches. And I'm pretty much going into any actual stitch mark now. Any actual crochet stitch that's there, whether it was the chain stitches or the top of the popcorn stitch. And I am doing a double crochet stitch, and I'm going to continue this all the way around and go ahead and finish, just make this look a little bit more finished. If you decide that you don't like the basket weave and you just want to keep going with this double crochet couple of rows around, you can do that. You would just keep going with this stitch. I think I did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did 4 rows extra to create this border. One of them was the double crochet stitch that you're seeing here, and the next 3 were basket weave. And before I start the basket weave though, before you do that, you have to see how many actual stitches you have here, because a basket weave is a pattern and you need to know how many you need, how you need to make this pattern. So I had 70 stitches, and so 70 was easily divisible by 5 for me. So I did my basket weave pattern in 5s this time. On my past video where I did the basket weave scarf, I did it 4s. This time we're doing 5s. And I highly suggest to watch that basket weave video, because I really go into a lot of detail on how to do it. This though, basically I'm doing a double crochet stitch by pulling into the front of each of the stitches, and it makes a raised effect. I do that for 5, and then I'm going to do the double crochet stitch in the back and pull it up to the front. And I don't think I said it on this video, but I'll tell you exactly how to do a double crochet stitch. So a double crochet stitch, you are wrapping your needle, pushing it through, wrapping it, pulling it back through, wrapping it, pulling it through 2, wrapping it, and pulling it through 2. And that's basically all you're doing on a basket weave, except for you're pulling it from the front and you're pulling it from the back, creating a unique pattern instead of just having the basic crochet look. So again, I'm doing 5 front, 5 back, 5 front, 5 back, and I'm just going to finish it out that row just like I would and do the double chain up, and you can kind of see the beginning look of the basket weave. But I'm going to do 2 more rows and bring you back to see what it looks like at the end of that, because a basket weave needs a few rows to really be able to see the pattern and to get that effect, which is a very unique, eye-catching effect. Actually, both of these stitches are, so it's really kind of fun to combine them. If you are new to my channel, I am creating a whole series of these crochet tutorials with things that I have done. There's a few things that I have done that I do well and I really enjoy doing. People enjoy receiving them as gifts. I enjoy wearing them. And so forth, and so I thought I would share those with people so they can do them during the colder months and maybe make some Christmas presents at an inexpensive cost, basically. This beanie only cost me $1.24. All right, so I showed this before in another beanie video, but if you need to try on and see if you have the right number of layers or rows, then you just pull it like this, and then you can try on your beanie and then retighten it when you're ready to use this. So I'm just going to cut the yarn. That way I can finish this off. And I'm just going to pull it tight through there. This beanie I'm going to finish on the end because my other beanie I finished a different way, and I kind of want to show you both options. So all you have to do is tie it, like I'm probably going to do 5 times. That's probably overkill, but I really want to make sure if one comes undone that more don't come undone. Let's go 4. All right, so I just tied it off on the end, and then I trim it right there. Now let's see what this looks like. My hair's a little greasy. It's time for a shower. Let's see. Where? Oh, that's good. I just lost my end. It's right there. All right. And that beanie is done. Isn't that so fun and so cute? And it's warm. Oh my gosh, it's like warmer out right now. So this is like really warm right this second. I like this finished edge with this. I've done a regular just double crochet all the way around, and I liked that in the past, but I do really like the contrasting styles, and I think this is going to look really cute with a big poofy scarf. So I hope you liked this video. I hope this inspired you to try the popcorn, let's call it popcorn in a basket beanie. And we'll see you back here for the next video.